Hello and welcome back to my channel, Checks, Captures, Threats, and today's episode, we're going on episode 13, which is a quiz. So, it's going to be a 12 question quiz today, 2 on each of the how to use the piece effectively. So the first 2 will be on how to use the pawn effectively, based on that. The next 2 will be on how to use the rooks effectively, the next 2, the knights, the 2 after the bishops, then the queen, then the king. So, hopefully you understand what we're doing. And here we go. So, in this position, what is this pawn called in this position due to these two, and what does it mean? So, if you had said that it's called a backward pawn, and that backward pawn means that it cannot be pushed because of this and it is not protected by another pawn, then you are correct. Okay, hopefully you found that. And the second one of the pawns. In this position, name as many reasons as you can to why white pawns are not working well. Okay, if you had said that there's many reasons, all isolated I would give, because that double pawned here, not connected, same thing as isolated, and if you said 4 pawn islands, then you are correct. Hopefully you got that. Any of those, if you got any of those, you get the right answer. Now, that is it for the pawns. Hopefully you watched that episode and saw. Now, we're on to the rooks. So in this position, on question 3, where do the rooks belong? If you had said that the rooks belong on the 7th rank, then you are correct. As shown in this position, it attacks all the pawns that have not moved yet, and in this scenario it's in line with the king, but sometimes it's obviously not. But hopefully you got that again. Well done if you did. Now question 4. In this position, where do you want to put the rook to help promote the pawn? Okay, if you had said to put it to b1, you are correct, as it's helping pushing the pawn forwards. You do not get it right if you said anything else other than also queen a6 does not work, as it's definitely not the best because it pins your pawn. So this cannot not move because obviously, as we can see, you got that, and then they'll be able to bring the king in. So it's not the right way of doing it. Always want to put your rooks behind passed pawns. Obviously, anywhere else they would just be able to take the pawn. It would be a draw. So make sure you get those. Question 5, which means we're now onto how to use the knights effectively. So in this position, what is the well-known saying that I have said in a previous episode about the knight on this position? Right, hopefully you remembered knight on the rim is dim, because as we can see here, it has got no squares, as it can only move to 4 places, and all of them are either protected or our own pieces are blocking them. Okay, well done if you remember that. And in this position, the last one, the knights, what is this called? What is the terminology for the knight being in this position? If you had said that it is called an outpost, then you are correct. As an outpost, obviously it cannot be captured by anything here in this position, and it's protected very well, so it could stay there for the rest of its game, and it's in front of all the pawns and everything. Well done if you got that. Right, now we're on to how to use the bishops effectively. So in this position, or in general, do bishops work better with more pieces or pawns on the board or less pieces or pawns on the board? If you had said less pieces are better for the bishop, then you are correct, as here the bishop can barely move and it's stuck by its own pawns, and so with this bishop they're all stuck. So the less pawns, the more chances the bishops can go out and do what they want. Okay. Now, second one. In this position, why would the move bishop to d5 be good? Now, if you had said here that firstly this protects the pawn, and this kind of creates what we call a battery, but also from it being in the corner, we have now put it into the middle of the board, and it has much more space it can go to here than it had previously been able to. Okay, that is it for the bishops. Now it is on to how to use the queen effectively. So, in this position, or in general again, are queens better as a defending piece or as an attacking piece? If you had said an attacking piece, then you're correct. As defending, it doesn't really work, as here we can show that black's trying to defend, but white has so much attack, it can go to here and win these two pawns, or even forcefully do a check and win this pawn. As attacking, you can get these backward pawns and everything quickly. Okay. Now, last one on the queens. In this position, or in general, out of the three pieces here, what is the best for a combination with the queen? Here. If you had said the knight, you are correct. As now, this is not a thing. Bishops and queens can be better than a queen and a knight, and a rook and a queen, same thing. But most of the time, you have a short range piece mixed with a long range piece. There is always a struggle for the other side to try and defend it compared to these two. Okay, and on the last two now, it's about the king. So in this position, what two ways can we protect the king? If you had said castling, you're correct. Now, make sure you said either way, because obviously you can castle king side, but also remembering that now we can castle, queen side. Always, and also you get extra if you want to say that after they move, making sure you put the king to protect this pawn. That is also, you get extra if you want that. Right, and last question for today's quiz. In this position, why is black much better here than white? Now, if you had said that it's because black is not using the king, then you are correct, as black has done the best thing here. You know, it's charging at these sort of pawns, it can capture it, and whereas white's just sitting around here, just not doing anything. You know, he's kept it from castling, it's just staying in that position. So it really needs to have moved, because now black can just have this advantage of just capturing every single pawn. So that is it for today's quiz. Hopefully put your score down out of 12, and hopefully you've done well. Obviously from the last 6 videos we did of that. Now We're going to be obviously changing it up now, so it'll be, I think the next episode will be how to attack, then how to defend, and then we're going to be going through a game, so how to start the opening, and then etc. So hopefully you enjoyed today's quiz. So that is all for today. Thank you and bye bye.